one. So bottom right hand side, our red Zerg player from Team Clash, it is Elazer.
And up in the top left, we have the blue Protoss player from Team MYI. It's PtitDrogo. And Wardy, let me just say, if there's anything that can put me back in a good mood after getting stressed, it's just watching PvZ in StarCraft, or watching Protoss play in StarCraft.
You know what it is? I think it's, now that we're in game again, you're crackling. I think it's 100% on my end. It must be just something to do with my audio settings and like something that's just messing it up and like forcing it down. I don't know. Either way, let's just cast this. Our levels are fine, so we'll just move on.
We'll just try and figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it. It's something that clearly can't be fixed today, so we're just gonna live with it. We'll fix it for another day, for the next time I have a co-caster on stream, guys. As we kick this off and look to see what's gonna happen in this Protoss versus Zerg. Kind of a cool one, honestly, like Drogo against Elazer. This is the winners match of the group, by the way, so we saw actually Elazer versus Hero Marine our first game of the day, and Drogo obviously taking down Hearthstone to get to this point as well. So getting set up into this and looking to see how we go. I think a really cool match. Like you said, we were kind of excited to maybe get to cast this, but then obviously I think Nurture Showtime came up, and we were like, okay, we kind of got to cast that one, right? So we jumped into that and went from there, so...
Yeah, Drogo's been one of those really interesting players who I think has definitely come up in skill level in 2017. He was like one of those guys that I think a lot of people were like, oh yeah, he's like really good, but I think he definitely at least impressed me a lot in 2017 and late 2016. So I think he, of course, is a really strong player, but that Elazer is like, I think, the really interesting story here as the guy who has gone to BlizzCon twice now. He won his own WCS event, the only player to win a WCS event in 2017 that wasn't by the name of Neeb. Like, it's absolutely insane how much that guy has actually come up in 2017.
Yeah, Elazer really had a fantastic year with that Valencia win, and it's kind of funny because, you know, Drogo like really started off like 2016 in all the right ways with a win at Leipzig way back then, and then he went to BlizzCon that year. Only just, you know, nothing really ever kind of followed up from that Leipzig win. Like, he never really hit multiple top fours after that or anything. Like, Leipzig was his big... He actually has, like, in the build-up, like, he had this kind of time, Drogo, where he started to do really well and he started to break through. And when he started to break through, like, everyone was like, whoa, but those were, like, top 16s, top 8s, when we weren't expecting him to get that far. Once he won Leipzig, you know, that's a championship. But then when did he get close to that again? Like, I kind of struggled to think, like, round of 16s... Maybe a round of 8 here and there, but I really don't think he has been up in the top levels. So it'd be interesting to see maybe he can repeat his performance at Leipzig. Now he gets to go back there once again.
All right. Yeah, will be really cool to see. But for now, we do have that Stargate opening. Oracle popping on out. Of course, the Elazer has more than just full vision of this. There's only adepts that have been made so far, and a second Oracle's on the way. So Elazer's actually just going to be chilling with that Overlord inside of PtitDrogo's main base until... for quite a bit of time at least. In the meanwhile, he gets up his own third base and gets up his spore callers.
So Oracle will be able to just get some information, of course, maybe able to pick away at a drone or two. 2 queens on the natural is the way to defend the Oracle rather than invest in the spore right away. Just means, you know, it's a little bit greedier, but obviously you benefit from having 1 extra drone for a little while, so that's a little bit of something there, as we do see the Ling is going to run by into the third base. A couple of depths on the mineral line, but they're pretty choked up. I'm not sure if this is really a worthwhile fight to fight for Elazer. I mean, does he even kill these?
I actually think he could have maybe even... Because the Oracle was so far across the map, and granted that's not necessarily something that Elazer had full knowledge of, but I actually think he could have canceled that third, or maybe gotten very close to it.
Yeah, if he just sort of attacked the Nexus. Because even if he just attacks the Nexus, then the Adepts come out of the gap, and then you can jump on them, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like, kind of weird.
Because you can, you can sit pretty far back, but, you know, he maybe didn't think that he'd be able to, because the Oracle was probably still somewhat close by, but regardless, the Oracle's getting some decent damage done over here by the third. One of them sort of occupying the queens, the other one goes after drones, and the Spore Crawler did not go up at that third, so Elazer trying to cut some corners and getting punished.
Robo Facility coming up here from PtitDrogo. His transition out is the Twilight Council on the forge to charge, and +1 attack on the way now. Again, that robot facility continue to come on through as well. Some extra gateways getting set up also. So Drogo, he's working, you know, he's building up his worker camp. But look at this from Elazer. There's a reason he's down on only 45 drones. He's throwing down the Nidus network. He's going to get aggressive in the near future.
Okay. And Oracles are going to spot this out. They'll spot out the Roach one that's coming on down. That definitely reveals a little bit more about what's going to be coming. But the Ling's going in for a big attack at the third. And there's just nothing here. Like, where are the units? There's one Adept on the map.
Yeah, he doesn't have any units at all at the moment. That's a bit of an issue, especially with this Nidus coming in. I mean, he saw the Nidus, but man, he needs these gates to finish. The problem is these gates down here are going to get unpowered with this pylon going down. And so that's already a lot of Drogo's production that just came up. That's just going to get taken offline instantly. As Zella got warped in here to try and defend, but that also drops. And, well, now the Overseer's heading across to drop that Nidus to get these Roaches and Queens out and into position.
This game went from, hey, things are actually going like pretty well for Drogo to, oh god, panic mode, panic time right now. He can only warp in. Okay, now he can warp in 5 units at a time, so this is going to make things a lot easier to defend, but that third base is getting awfully low right now. Elazer is target firing it down, and he's winning versus all the Zealots.
Why are the probes coming back to the third base? No! Drogo, this is not how this is meant to go, as now the Nidus pops up in the main, and as those Roaches start coming on out, we're just going to be seeing, well, Roaches and Queens is going to keep on working their way through all of these probes, and I just don't think there's a way that Drogo realistically holds on to it.
He can't warp anything in. The robotics facility can't even produce the Immortal right now. And luckily for Drogo, he's going to start losing some probes. Unluckily for him, he just got Artosis pylon, 3 gateways, the Templar Archive, and the Robo. GG. Elazer taking the 1-0 lead in this series. Immediately spurring out tons and tons of units. But until that moment, they're very light on units.
Top left-hand side, our Blue Zerg player from Team Clash. It is Elazer. As we're into map 2 here on Odyssey.
And in the bottom right, we have the red Protoss player. Give it up for PtitDrogo.
Yeah, getting number 2 here, and I think Elazer will just... I mean, what's really fun about Elazer's plays, God, is he a good macro player, but he is also so good at these attacks, these timings, throwing them into the series at great points, and just identifying when he can really do so much with them. Like, you see a lot of players will try Nidus attacks and so on, and obviously sometimes they work, but so often they don't work because they get scouted and figured out. And Elazer, even if this got scouted here, you know, he saw the Nidus coming up, he saw the Roach roaring. PtitDrogo saw all the signs he needed to see exactly what was happening, and what did he have to actually defend? Well, truly, honestly, nothing at all.
Yeah. Well, this is, again, the winner's match that they played out, so... The winner of this match does move on to the playoffs. So if Elazer can take one more game, it means that he was able to make it there. Drogo going to try and do something about that, though. Goes to the nice and early probe scout. Nothing super duper crazy as he gets up his Nexus. But yeah, just being a little bit cautious, knowing that Elazer, like you said, is willing to throw out these kind of weird timing attacks.
So dangerous to play against Elazer as well. Like, if he is willing to throw out these weird kind of little timings and stuff like that, thank God, all of a sudden, like, you got to play so much safer, right? And then do you even go aggressive yourself? Because if he's going to maybe make units, then there's just so much you have to think about. Like, it's not like you're playing Snoot, who, you know, in something like ZVT or ZvP, he likes to just play pretty straight up and standard. Like, you know, it's very rarely throws an all-in down, but nowhere near as often as Elazer does. And that's what makes Elazer so much scary, I think, in just terms of general play, and especially when he's 1-0 up. You know, all of a sudden he has room to play with as well. Like, he has room for something weird and quirky to fail and fall off the chart a little bit, so...
Yeah. It's always funny. Like, I think there's different ways that some players will look at the cheese and how they use it. Some players will do kind of what you were talking about, like a Snoot, or I would also say Neeb, where you cheese, but you cheese not very often. So when you are going for the cheese, it's because you cheese and you need that important win. A player like Elazer, I think, will cheese to keep his opponent honest so that he can secure leads in other games that he's just playing standard macro and his opponent has to play extra safe. Like, it's always really cool to see how different players utilize it.
Stargate from Drogo.
Oh, no surprise there.
Yeah, it really isn't, is it? Like, it's kind of funny. What I think the funniest thing is that kind of people really cycled away from Stargate when this patch first hit. Now all of a sudden, here we
It's
are with
unplayable
Stargate
now.
every game. It always comes back around though, like every single time. It just happens again and again and again, like the cycling. I feel in PvZ, especially maybe throughout Legacy of the Void, I'm really tempted to like go back and make a video on it because like I feel like the PvZ meta in particular throughout Legacy of the Void has been so interesting to follow. Like, for example, initially it was like double Stargate, double Robo, and then double Stargate things fell apart and Lurker play fell away, and then we had like glaive attacks for a long time into double Stargate. There was like so many different ways of doing it, and then Archon drops became a thing and faded out as well to only come back and, you know, super strong later. There's a lot of cool little things that happened, I suppose.
I think PvZ, just in general across, not even Legacy of the Void or 2017, the history of StarCraft, PvZ has always been, I think, the most dynamic matchup in terms of how it's played and what different options there are. Like, I never feel like there's ever been almost any period in PvZ that there was only one really thing that happened outside of maybe the Immortal Sentry all-in period and like the Broodlord Infestor.
You know, I actually kind of disagree because I actually really feel that in Heart of the Swarm, PvZ was the most stale matchup it could ever be. Like every game was Forge Fast Expand into either +1 4-gate Zealot attacks or like +2 Blink Stalker diamonds. Maybe it wasn't.
That is true. That is true to an extent.
Maybe it wasn't so much that it was the same thing again and again as these Lings, by the way, doing some damage, but Oracles will come home to defend it. Maybe it was more just that with the +2 Blink Stalkers, it just took so long for anything to happen, and that's what I kind of remember is just, you know, the same thing being happening again and again, you know?
Yeah, that is true. Like the openers were pretty much the same always, even if it would lead into like maybe a different transition.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, right? It's like the same, like, and it wasn't like definitely the openers, but like you could literally go up to +2 and blink, and then show us what different thing you're gonna do, right? And that's what was so crazy, because then you could go like 3-base blink attack, or you could be building Immortals. But it was like 8 minutes of game time, which was like maybe 5 minutes overall back then, which was just the same again and again. Anyways, enough reminiscing. Let's see what's happening in this game right now. Hydra Den is coming up with the Muscular Augment Bane Nest coming down, so Elazer just the Ling Bane Hydra fairly aggressively with no upgrades here.
Well, these Lings of the third are actually getting some decent damage done until the shield battery comes up, and after that shield battery's up, I don't expect anything to happen. Yeah, all the Lings get taken out. Nice micro from Drogo.
Yeah, the shield battery really is just so good at those little Ling run-bys nowadays. So funny that we don't see them being spammed as much. When as soon as they got like added like 25 minerals extras, people are suddenly like, whoa, shield battery per base? No, no way. And they build them a little bit more sparingly now, but god, they're so good against those Ling run-bys, etc. And I think someone like the Elazer, you should always just have one or two. I mean, I guess a lot of the top circles obviously Ling run-by as well right now, but someone like Elazer who always throws down some, again, quirky things, it isn't bad to have a shield battery in each mineral line as just a sort of like a quick backup or something.
Yeah, I actually am very much with you, and it's sort of weird. I think it's actually just been totally phased out of the matchup almost entirely. Not quite entirely, but mostly. Mutas, I feel like they just get shut down entirely by shield batteries. Like, I laugh when I see someone making Mutas and they try and run in on like a mineral line for probes, and just the shield battery doesn't allow the Mutas to kill any probes. It's like maybe 3 probes die over the course of 25 seconds. I'm like, okay, dude, was this really worth it? Was it worth the 800 gas or so for this? Yeah, shield batteries are pretty nice. Very strong defensive tool.
Just going to be seeing these couple Archons sat outside the third base. I mean, Drogo's army's just getting kind of set up here, trying to take the gold, but there's a single circling. This is causing a little bit of chaos here. A few Hydras to the south side, 6 of them, and a few more Hydras in the center, and I mean, this is it. I mean, we talked about it, you know, no upgrades, it's going to be very aggressive. Even with 72 drones, it's still going to be very aggressive, and so here we go, Elazer looking to do some real damage early. Won't have enough of Stasis Ward, though.
Oh, good Stasis Trap. Catches a lot of those Hydras. The other 2 Stasis Traps not quite, or at least one of them not quite as successful. Overseer's staying pretty far back just because I think it doesn't quite have speed, and wow, Elazer's just gonna back up. I guess he's busy trying to deal with the Zealot harassment on the other side of the map, but this is a very big pullback.
Lots of drones gonna be going down this gold. I mean, maybe not lots of drones. There's probably gonna be some more, but the Lings arrived. But there is a couple of queens that went down, and as you mentioned, the pullback is a big thing on its own. As we are going to be seeing even Drogo feeling kind of good to be on the map. I'm not sure if he really realizes just how aggressive Elazer wants to be, because, wow, I mean, he's out here with no warp prism to warp in with or anything. Okay, I mean, he'll take the high ground ramp, but kind of interesting here as we do see the Lings and Hydras continue to push on forwards. Bane's coming through as well, and oh my god, I mean, these Hydras are just going to start getting so much done already. Like, the Mortal drops very quickly, but actually the Archon's getting in the front now. Will take down a lot of the Lings, and the Hydras become very exposed with a charge in of Zealots from the south side.
Yeah, the Zealots just tank so much damage. +1 weapon Archons will shred through these Hydras. So Drogo maybe starting to get... Oh, no, actually, no. He's fine. He's got more of these Archons coming on in. And the Immortals, the big damage dealers in the back, can also tank a little bit of damage. They're just staying alive and healthy. The Lings are getting a nice little wraparound on the Archons. But as soon as the Lings are gone, like, the Hydras just disappear.
Archons and Immortals gonna keep on trying to trade. Oh my god, this is getting so close. Like, again, no Warp Prism at the front, so reinforcements take so long to get here. I feel like if there's a Warp Prism in this fight, like, Drogo actually just crushes Elazer so much harder. Just, you know, 8 Zealots kind of join in so much faster, can go a huge way. Finally, the Prism arrives, but, man, I mean, again, I mean, this is still a good fight for Drogo, but it could have just been so much better, even.
Yeah, I mean, just having a few more of these Zealots on the front line, forcing these Hydras to jump back a little bit. Oh, that's a big round of Zealots coming on in. That's going to be very, very helpful. The Archons have been focus fired down by Elazer, so he's starting to push this further and further back. 4 more Archons being made, but are they going to be made in time?
Oh, I mean, maybe not. I mean, there's 3 of them. I mean, this is one more Archon that was morphing at the front. Again, where's the kind of something to tank for these Hydralisks? Takes down another Archon. He's going to get the Prism, which is great. Just stops reinforcements here. And look at these couple of Lings just slowly trying to stop these units and keeping them towards the Hydras. A lone Overlord with a little bit of creep, and the Ling helps him to kill the Archon. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Elazer is starting to kill off enough of these high-tech units of Drogo. I mean, Drogo's done a good job of keeping the Immortals alive, but losing so many of those Archons is really, really brutal. He's gonna have a hard time replacing them effectively. He's got a decent number of these Zealots out now, so he can start to focus more on warping in some more High Templars, but oh god, more of these Zealots getting picked off as they warp in, but hey, getting in decent position until the Banelings show up.
Oh my god, those Zealots were so close up. The Banes took a little while to actually get rid of some of those. And now again, I mean, it's kind of like the Hydras had before. The Immortals are kind of just exposed on their own. And we see Elazer pushing forwards, is picking off. I mean, the Zealot Warpers just keep on coming to protect these Immortals, and god, does he need them. And actually, we're all charging in forwards now. Maybe the Hydra number goes low enough that the Immortals will be able to fight against this, and he is able to start pushing this back.
Oh my god, Elazer's just not stopping. He's making more Lings, more Hydras, and presumably more Banelings soon. That Immortal count is continuing to grow, and funny enough, Drogo has actually been investing in upgrades during all of this. He is almost at +3 weapons, Wardy, and there is not even a single upgrade out in the way. There's not even an evolution chamber for Elazer.
Yeah, Elazer is still upgradeless, which is just so rough for him. I mean, again, the army numbers is his advantage, right? But it only goes for so long, and I think with so many Immortals having stayed alive throughout this game from Drogo, it puts him in a position where his tech, you know, his number of tech units is huge. Huge enough to really just have a great time against this low-tech army
opposite. The gold. And it's gonna run in 4 workers. Okay, not the exactly the amount of damage he needed there.
Let's see our Protoss player pulling back a little bit here, just obviously wants to stay defensive, up to 5 bases now, and again, I think if you're clicking on these units, you're seeing no upgrades, you're just saying to yourself, well, you know, buddy, the longer I have to max out, the better it is for me, because the less you're going to have to overwhelm me with, right? And this is pretty crazy, and really, again, I guess from here, like Elazer is in a tough spot. He's going to need some really miracle kind of Baneling connections to make something happen. He's going to see some Immortals and Archons coming in through the center. You're going to see these Archons getting crashed into by a few of these Banes as well. Ooh, well, you know, I just feel like less Zealots. Yeah, I kind of feel like he might be. Like, no Zealots in the front to help out. The Hydra numbers are insane at the moment. No Storm as well, by the way, remember. So these Hydras do not go down quickly at any phase. And there's still Banes left over to deal with the next wave of Zealots. And that's something that hasn't been before. Like, Banes to deal with the next set of Zealots. So the Hydras keep on pushing forwards here. Only 2 Immortals left over in Drogo. I mean, the last place he needed to be in the middle of the map, was in the middle of the map, and that is exactly why.
Yeah, Elazer re-seizing a bit of control in this game. Drogo losing so many of those immortals and the immortal count that he had been working so hard to build up. Oh god, now look at all of these more banelings that are being morphed in right outside the natural. Elazer finally finding a good position, can get on top of the pylon that's powering the robotics facility, and two of the gateways, or at least one of them, gets the other gateway as well.
Nice pick off here by Elazer. You suddenly, I mean, he's still on 0 upgrades. Oh yeah, the DTs. Well, you can manually, you can detonate Banes for a little while. The Bane Splash is actually going to kill one DT so far. Now the Banes are mostly gone, so Elazer's going to have to turn around. But look at that army supply, 80 to 26. When Elazer gets an Overseer here, which is right now, suddenly his army supply is so huge.
So far out, they got way too aggressive. All of them end up falling. The Overseer comes in, and while the DPs definitely did some work, there's no more Immortals coming out. The robotic facilities were never repowered, and Drogo is getting overrun. That's a 2-0 for Elazer.
Wow, Elazer.